Okay, so what happened, Austin? We're talking about our shitting ourselves stories.
Mm.
When was the last time you shot yourself?
Probably when I was like 5 or 6, courtside watching my parents play volleyball.
Wow.
Oh.
At least were you? Was it sand volleyball? Because you could have just done what a cat.
No, it was indoor volleyball. It was gymnasium volleyball.
Has anyone been to a friend's house and clogged their toilet? Has anybody had that shame?
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah.
What is that, Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah.
No, but one time I had to shit myself really bad. And my friend was in the car with me, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna shit in this car." And so I pulled over and ran into the woods, and was like, "I'm gonna throw up," and then went behind a tree, and I did not throw up. But
you threw up out of your butt.
Yeah. And so I came back and I was like, "Oh, that was so gross. I remember back there."
So when I was in high school, I grew up in a very rural area, and so everybody had like toilet paper in the back of their car just in case. And I remember like going somewhere else, and they're like, "Why do you have toilet paper in the back of your car?" Like, well, just in case you needed it. Like, where did you grow up? I was like, just like, yeah, you mean you guys don't have toilet paper in the back of your car just in case? Like, it blew my mind that people didn't live that way.
I have toilet paper in my car, and I'll be like, "Oh, it's because like you can use it if you have to blow your nose. You can use it if you spill something, but we all know it's in case you shit yourself."
Yeah, and I did use it several times when I was growing up in the rural area.
Back of the car. Oh my God, I'm dying. I can't. Well, that will never happen.
Oh, she jinxed herself. She's gonna shit herself on the squat rack tomorrow.
Tomorrow's rest day.
The last time I shit myself was like 2 months ago.
Too much protein?
No, I was really sick. I was really sick, and I was taking a nap, and I woke up and I was like, "The fuck was that?" And I was like, immediately went into the shower.
I've had some close calls, but I haven't actually shit myself.
No, it was more than a close call. The killer was coming from inside the house that night.
Yeah.
Wow.
I won't put this in the podcast. Don't worry.
1, 2, 3, 4. Just trying to stay alive. Some days I wanna die, but I don't wanna say goodbye.
This is what happens at 8 o'clock on a Friday.
Yeah, I know. Like, why are we all home on a Friday night? Like, what is wrong with all of us?
Because we're all over 30.
Yes, we're all over 30. So you're the
and we all have some sort of mental disability.
You sure do. I'm just really happy Jason could be here because we can't do this without Jason.
I miss Jason.
It's been, me and Michael haven't recorded since New Year, New Zealand. That's the last time me and Mikey were on an episode together.
I know. Finally. See, guys, he's not homophobic. I was joking.
No. But Mikey, do you hate cisgendered white males? Is that what's going on here?
Those are my favorite lays.
No.
Hey.
Just like the potato chips.
Oh my God.
I'm sure that Instagram story was a hot mess. We're just like gaggling in the background. She's like,
listen, I've had a day. I've been crying all day. Like, you guys understand.
Yeah.
For several reasons. But
well,
like,
you're seniors.
He's just, my little baby's like screaming for me. I signed so many yearbooks. By the end of the day, like my bris was falling off, and I'm just like, oh my God, my baby.
Your bris?
Did you say your bris?
I heard bris.
Isn't that?
That's a circumcision for
speaking
Jewish
of, I've been
people.
watching the Jewish.
I guess mine fell off too.
A lot of fun.
Mine fell off 35 years ago. However, I'm glad that you put a Friday the 13th wallpaper when you have so much Friday the 13th
I know,
behind you anyway.
There's three things. There's the fucking there's the mask, and there's Jason. I don't fucking need a background. What am I doing with my life?
I know.
So silly.
Austin's about to be a daddy.
Yeah, he's already a daddy, if you know what I mean.
Hey,
I got the bod of a daddy, that's for sure.
Yeah, he does.
Tell me about it.
I have a shirt that actually it says it's not a dad bod, it's a father figure, and I'm gonna wear the fuck out of that shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting. We're so happy for you. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
you and your fertile nut. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
What? It's fertile dad nut. It's a thing.
Mikey.
It's a kink. It's not my kink.
Listen, it took a year, okay? So I don't know how fertile I am.
Hey.
Or barren or whatever I am.
Barren
Well,
is for
some-
women.
Women are barren. Sorry.
Something swam through.
Yeah, Austin's greasy strangler.
Oh my god. I hope a good one made it through. I hope it's not the reject one that made it through.
That's okay. We were all rooting for her.
I
To
thought
the
that was
land
a
of
4
college.
logo in your hand. I was like, Aid, what stage at your life are you in right now? It's a Truly, right?
Yeah, it's a Truly.
Okay.
They were on sale for $10. The margarita ones. They're
Oh,
not
shit.
very good. And
Wait, there's
again, go to
margarita ones?
ABC. There's margarita ones.
Whoa.
There's a chili mango in there that's delicious.
Oh,
Chili mango. We call that
And this-
mango nada here in Texas.
I'm
Just saying.
sorry. Excuse me, sir.
Well, I'm just
I was
saying.
just reading the label, okay?
That's fine.
Anyways.
You're in Florida. Austin, that is strike 2 with your bodily function, sir.
So, but anyways, yeah, and right now at ABC Austin, they're all $10, except the only Trulies that aren't $10, and this is a whole 12 pack, which to me was just amazing.
that's a good deal. yeah.
Yeah, the only ones that aren't $10 are the mixed berry ones. But all
I
of
like
the other
the punch
flavors.
pack.
Yeah,
Whatever
the
one,
punch
yeah,
pack is $10.
that's my favorite. That one's great. Tropical
I
punch,
like
punch.
my pack punch too. I can't say it.
Are you
Sorry.
okay tonight, Mike?
I'm drinking. I told
Mikey's
you
been
I'm in some
drinking.
sort of. This is Slashers, your favorite horror podcast about your favorite horror media. It is I, your also favorite host, Mikey, here with your second favorite and third favorite and fourth favorite host, not in any particular order, but Adrienne, Austin, and Jason. Boys, say hello to the mutant goons from beyond.
And lady.
Hello.
Just boys. Just boys.
Debatable.
Oh, you know what? I don't have
Wow.
anything between my legs that would signify such things, but it's 2023 and gender is just a construct. So there we are.
Yeah,
It is
gender
a-
is
it is
just
a
construction
construct.
paper.
Oh,
What I
yeah.
mean by that is it's not important. Now. What?
No, I think that's really good. I like that.
You're welcome.
Good job.
This is the second, right? Second installment. No. Second installment of our
Third.
Mother's Mayhem.
No, it's a third
Third.
because we did
Third?
Evil Dead Rise, we did
Oh.
Cocaine Bear.
Okay.
Now
Evil
we're with
Dead
Mrs.
Rise,
Voorhees.
Cocaine Bear. And now we're
Cocaine.
coming back at you with a little classic we like to call Friday the 13th, Part 1.
Not
Also
part
not-
one. No, it doesn't say part 1 though. This wasn't originally envisioned to be part 1. Maybe it was. I don't know.
Think-
I'm stupid. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty on the podcast, guys.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
fine.
that's Jason.
Yeah. Thanks for cisgender splaining to me.
Yeah.
But it was also called, what was it? Alone at Night in Camp Blood was what the
Yeah.
working title? Something like that.
What an
So,
awful title.
I actually
Well-
like it, but I feel like a movie centered around a date or an event would probably be more marketable than
you-
Long
What was-
Night at Camp Blood. That's me on my period, am I right, ladies?
Could you could you
Uh,
imagine the rest of the franchise being like A Long Night at Camp Blood 6, Jason Lives?
Yeah. Jason lives at the cabin in the long night. in the
A
floor.
Long Night at Camp Blood 9, Jason Takes Manhattan.
You need a real long poster for that one.
Jason rides the boat, then takes
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's the thing. I do know that Sean S Cunningham, like they were like obviously that this was very heavily influenced from Halloween, and so
Mhm.
going with a date or a holiday to kind of like piggyback off of that was obviously a very good idea because they thought it wasn't going to make shit, and here we are today talking. How many sequels do we have?
I think
There's
there's
12.
whatever's going to come out next is going to be the 13th one.
Yes.
So,
Okay,
12
so there's 12
currently.
right now. Yeah, there's 12. So
and then
yeah,
there's the remake. So it's like there's 11 plus the remake.
And then there's those fan films too on YouTube. There's like 3 of them.
There's
No,
also
they're really
the-
good.
One
There's
is
also
really good.
the television show that came out in the early 90s, and
That's
there's
true.
also the television show that's coming out like in a
Mhm.
year or so.
Oh yeah.
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 I'm very
That
interested to see
counts.
what they do with that show because I don't know. Is it going to be about Jason's background? Is it going to be about I don't know. Do we have
Hopefully-
the rights?
Yeah, I don't even know what's going to have the rights to it because this has been a rights nightmare since I don't know, like 2018 or something like that. I forgot exactly when it all got
Since the last
launched, but yeah.
movie, really, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who was suing it? Was it Sean S Cunningham suing?
No,
Yeah.
Victor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought no, Victor Miller was suing Sean S
Oh,
Cunningham.
Victor.
Oh, yeah.
Victor
because he
Miller
was a
okay.
writer, and
Yeah.
he
I
said
know
he
they
had
were the
rights
two
to it.
separate parties,
Yeah,
but I don't know who the aggressor was in the situation. But because it sounds like it could be either really good or really bad.
No, but I mean it's film, but like what else like do they have like something like the rights over Jason? Because I know it's kind of weird whenever we see like when Horror Nights, for example, and Austin knows this, when Horror Nights does has Freddy, Jason, and Michael a part of the whole shtick that year. You never see clips of the films. You only see the characters. Like you don't see names of other people. You don't see anything like except for with the exception of last year with the Halloween house. Obviously Lori and Dr. Loomis and everybody were in there, which I thought was really interesting. But like you never see anything else. I don't know. Do they have the rights on just the characters? Do they have the rights in the storyline? Do they have the rights in the plot? Like what exactly? I guess we should have read this. Would have been really useful to have our attorney Jacob with us today. He could
Well,
not
where's your
make it.
notes, Abe? Where's your notes?
I have them up right now, and I did not find anything in those notes because I was doing them while I was AP proctoring, and
Whatever that means. That's code for taking a massive dump. Um,
So I actually, because I really wanted to talk about Janine Taylor, who plays Marcy, because like I watched the movies that made us on Netflix, specifically the Friday the 13th one, and I just thought like her story was just so interesting, and I didn't really think about like how this affected all of the actors, because like when you think of this movie right off the bat, all of you think of like, okay, Betsy Palmer, and then you think of who else?
Kevin Chrissy
Bacon.
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon and his little fine ass. So I love him. I follow him on Instagram and I love his Monday blues. Like
So
I watch
who's
it every
so
week.
Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th one or Kevin Bacon in Tremors? What's top tier Kevin Bacon?
Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
Really?
I gotta go Tremors.
I don't need a fake cowboy Kevin Bacon. I need camp counselor, deep throat with the arrow, like
Oh yeah, no, that is a good part. That always got me as a kid watching that scene. And it still holds up today.
it's gross.
Like, yeah. But, and of course, obviously, so Tom Savini was behind all of the effects. So this is why I think that Friday the 13th probably has more of an impact on audiences than Halloween in a sense because of the gore and the practical effects, and everything's just completely amped up in this one.
Mhm.
But it feels very 70s. And I always say this, like, why does this movie feel so 70s? Because it was filmed in 79. And so I sometimes kind of think of Friday the 13th Part 1 as a 70s film, which I know it is not, but at the it is an 80s horror, but I still kind of I slide it to the 70s just to to be part of my
Yeah, I mean the same thing goes with like Halloween. What was it? It was 79, but it still feels 70s, and I feel like early 80s gets a 70s pass.
Yeah, I mean, well, Halloween was 78, and then of course I think when was Black Christmas? That was 74.
I think it was
74.
74.
Yeah, and so
Same year as Texas Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and so this is why I love 70s horror, because I just feel like it has more of it's kind of dirty and it's kind of grimy, and there's just something very 70s about it, and I can't put my finger on it, and everyone like loves to hail the 80s, and they rightfully should, because I think 80s horror is amazing. But nobody we need In Search of Darkness for the 70s, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think.
It'll
That's
probably
just-
come out because they've been doing they did 80s, 90s. I'm pretty sure they'll do something soon.
They did 90s. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think it's one of their new ones that they did.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't finish the third one, and they're still going through like more cult stuff on the 80s. They're long watches. They're long watches. Those were like 4 hours long half the time.
I think it was like 5 hours, but I put it on for like 20 minutes, and then when I start falling asleep, I turn it off. Like it's one of those things where
Yeah.
I watch it like a series.
I mean, it is a series, but I understand what you're saying. Speaking
Thank
of
you.
really long things, We forgot to ask each other what we were watching. Austin, get your mind out of the gutter. My goodness, he makes one baby and all of a sudden he's like, all he thinks about is sex. I saw today Beau Is Afraid or Not Afraid. I don't remember what it's called.
With Joaquin.
I was not afraid.
Yeah, Beau is. Are you sure it's Beau Is Not Afraid?
Not afraid.
Okay, well,
It's
that's misleading.
A24, right? Isn't it A24?
Is it Ari Aster? That's an Ari
Ari
Aster
Aster
joint, right?
A24 joint.
Ari
Yeah.
Aster.
So is
Yeah.
it 2.5 hours long of people just being miserable?
Oh, it's 3.
It's 3
Oh,
hours.
come
long,
on, Jason.
Okay, yeah.
Thank
His
you.
first
Where-
one was
where
2
was I?
hours. Then Midsummer was 2.5, and this one's 3. He's just gonna keep doing it a half hour extra every time he makes a
Well,
movie.
you know, Austin likes to be a little extra. It's actually 2 hours and 59 minutes.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh my God. Who has time? First of all, I don't need to look at Joaquin Phoenix for that long, but that's okay.
It's, guys, I watch it. Like, it's, I,
Now, did you
It's
like
still-
Hereditary and Midsommar? Did you like those 2 movies?
Midsummer, I was like, okay, this is fine at home. What was the other one?
Hereditary.
Oh, Hereditary, yeah. But Hereditary, I saw in the theater and I was like, this is boring. I saw it again at home and I was like, this is great. So, but this one is like, it's just I always say this and I sound like a broken record, but really they don't really tell you much. I had no idea what the fuck I was watching. But like, just go watch it. It's like, it's Parker Posey, Joaquin Phoenix,
Parker Posey. Okay,
yeah,
You
what's-
sold it.
Patty
Lapone.
Lapone.
Lap-
Okay.
I, thought
I was gonna say
Patti
LaBelle. I was
LaBelle.
like, no,
Oh,
not
yeah, I thought you were thinking Packard
And
Bell, but-
Nathan Lane. Let's not
Nathan
forget.
Lane is in
Let's
it.
not forget Nathan Lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my God.
It's a solid cast. Also, I'm kidding. It's Beau Is Afraid, Mikey. I was just fucking with you.
I was gonna say that sounds incorrect because he's pretty afraid the whole movie.
No, I was
Um,
yeah, I'm fucking with you.
It's and the reason I know see how he treats me, and the reason why I mention this is because if anybody has time to watch it this month, it's a Mother's Day, not a Mother's Day movie, but it's a very heavily mother themed movie, and it's every movie has 3 acts. The second act, I was kind of like, I'm not stoned, so I don't. I'm not really enjoying. Like, I'm not enjoying this to the fullest. The first act is amazing. The second act, I'm like, okay, this is a little, dragging. But the third act, I'm like, geez. And then it ends, and I was like, do I like this movie? I think I like this movie. And then I was sitting on it, and I'm like, oh, that was such a good movie. So just watch it. I saw it with my bald dude brigade, and it's just so good, and it's Mother's Day. So if anybody has 3 hours to kill before this month's over and wants to record an episode on it, I would love to talk about it with somebody.
So should you take your mother to go see it with you? Is that a good idea?
On Mother's Day, yeah. No.
Okay, so when this episode airs, Mother's Day would have been yesterday. So for those of you people out there who forgot, you better call your fucking mom right now.
Yeah.
Stop in your DeLorean, go back to Mother's Day, and take her to Beau Is Afraid.
Yes.
PSA.
It's listed as a horror. Interesting. It was only
I know.
it was only a comedy drama for the longest time, but it's
So-
now listed on IMDb as a horror.
I was not super excited to watch it because I was like, oh, it's a comedy, but it's Ari Aster and it's A24. They'll probably be like, it'll be like a dark comedy. No, there's horrific things in it.
Question:
Well,
is there head trauma in this movie? Because Ari Aster said head trauma would be a part of all of his movies in a Reddit AMA years ago, and he had it in Hereditary. He had it in Midsommar. Is there head trauma? Like,
I think let me scroll back in the last 3 hours and think about what happened.
Yeah, because I think the only horrific thing about the film is the fact that it's almost fucking 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Like
know
that
what?
Black Mirror episode, just when you hit that little rewind.
There
And,
is.
Jason's like, I won't sit through In Search of Darkness. And then Mikey's like, oh, by the way, you have
Yeah.
to see this 3 hour long film.
Well, here's the
the
reason
theater
why.
too.
Here's the reason why I would say it's okay, because when I checked my clock, I was like, should I pee or is it almost over? I checked my phone and it was only 2 hours, and I was like, oh my god, there's an hour left. But that like starts the third act, and that third act goes by real quick. And then, before I knew
you're
it,
saying that's a good time to pee, everybody, right before the
Right
second
at 2 hours. Got it. Mark
when
your,
it starts to look a little storybooky, that's a good time to pee.
Okay.
And then they had like a poster that we took a picture of in front of, and this elder lady, she was really cute with her husband, kind of like, boys, what did you think of that movie? And my friend like loved it, like immediately. He's like, I loved it. It was crazy. I didn't understand some things, but I loved it. And she was like, I think I feel the same way. It was really funny. So watch it if you can, if you have that time. I would love to talk about it, but it's so new. I'm also like, maybe we shouldn't, because I don't want to say anything about it. But you see Parker Posey's boobs. I don't know if you ever see boobs before. So
I've never seen her, but well, now I have to see
naked? What
it.
the fuck? What?
yeah,
Parker
and she's
Posey?
hot. Yeah,
No, I
she's
know.
hot.
I love her. Oh my god.
Yeah.
She is
She's
awesome.
she's one of those ones that like as she ages, I'm like, she's prettier than like when she was in like her stuff as like younger. She just gets better. Like she's like wine.
There's something about her lips or her mouth when she talks. I don't know what it is, but I fucking adore her. And like, and I know Jason hates this, but Scream 3,
Oh, I love it.
my
bad movie.
lawyer loved that.
Yeah.
After Courtney
Stop
Cox.
pretending. I still tell people that. When they're like, stop pretending you whatever. And she's like, stop pretending you whatever. And she's like, well, just stop pretending. So I tell Adam that all the time when I don't know what to say, tell him.
I love that movie for her, for sure.
Oh yeah, she still has back problems from
Freedom.
carrying that movie. But but yeah, watch it. Anybody else see anything noteworthy?
Watched The Hunt yesterday. I mean, it's like, I don't know.
That
3
was
years late.
today. Wasn't it
Yeah.
today?
Yeah. Well, I
Today-
finished it this morning. I watched it yesterday. I finished it this
Why are
morning.
you gonna call
Okay.
out Jason? Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Um,
because I thought I was losing my mind. I'm like, did I imagine the conversation?
You're
or did
making me
I-
look like a liar to the people that listen to this podcast. Thanks, Aid.
Yeah, hey, don't make Jason look like a goddamn lie.
I know. I sound like Bill Dotrieve on King of the Hill, but I can't. It's not my fault.
You don't sound like Bill. You sound a little more like Boomhauer, but we'll leave it.
What were we
Even
watching?
better.
Oh, so I don't know if you listened to the Cocaine Bear episode, Jason, but I said that the
Yeah,
little boy.
I did hear that. I did
the
hear
little
that.
boy's
Yeah.
gonna sound. That's what your son's gonna sound like.
Oh, man.
Maybe
Anyways,
he's better at. Yeah, I'm just a little bit better at taking a mouthful of coke than that kid is.
yeah, I've heard.
What is
However,
happening right now? You have lost control of the room, Mikey. I'm sorry.
well, I'm sorry that I wanted to do what we typically do in our format, and you just wanted to run away with it. You wanted to
Well, no,
Winona
because-
Ryder and shoplift this episode.
You bitch.
Speaking of Beetlejuice 2 coming
Handbag
soon.
thief.
I'm not at Barney's. I'm good.
Oh, we know. They have a picture of her there. It says, "Don't let this bitch in." Anyways, back to the regularly scheduled programming.
But
Friday
yeah, the
13th.
Hunt. I saw
yeah, The
it's
Hunt.
it's fine. It's just like the Purge, but with liberals.
Gross.
And it's really not as offensive as I was thinking it might.
It's
be, but
not.
People lost their fucking minds when that movie came out.
I don't understand why.
Because
I don't-
Donald Trump mentioned it.
Yeah, it was about liberals hunting, conservatives, and I was like,
No,
this
I
is
thought
no
it was-
worse.
Yeah,
it
it was,
was.
but I thought it painted the liberal. I'm sorry, Jason. I'll let you
Yeah, painting liberals as the douchebags because they were in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People lost their goddamn mind about this. And granted, it was also an early pandemic movie, I think, which also sort
Yeah.
of hurt it.
It was like the first movie I saw, or for horror wise, in 2020. It was like January or February, I think, that year before everything got shut down.
Yeah, I remember I saw The Invisible Man, and like the next week is when they shut everything down. And
Yeah. A Quiet
Yeah.
Place 2 fell victim. Like first, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna postpone our movie." I was like, "No."
yeah.
Well,
I
it
remember
also
people
fell
still-
victim just from being a shit movie. But I think the Invisible Man was
You're such a
kidding.
scamp.
Austin's gonna hate
Such a
me.
shit, Mikey.
This is why I text Austin like every hour. Are you mad at me?
Now I know why you asked me that question. Such a
It's like-
shit.
With little sad face and tears in the eyes.
Yep. Accompanied with a whole pic. But no,
I'm the one who gaslights him. Okay.
just a toxic relationship. I love you. Don't leave me.
Yeah. I love you.
hate
Don't
you.
leave me. It was your fault anyways.
I hate you. Don't
Uh,
go.
I'm the problem.
What
It's
is
me.
happening?
So Friday the 13th is a movie about Betsy Palmer. Okay.
Yes. Betsy S. Palmer. Go ahead, Aid.
Okay, so the reason we chose Friday the 13th was because I think that Mrs. Voorhees is the quintessential mother of horror. I don't know if any of you, the rest of you, maybe Mommy Dearest, but would anybody argue with that?
What? Like in terms of mothers?
No wire hangers. That's all. What's all we're missing from this one is no wire hangers.
Well,
Okay.
I
What movie
was,
was that?
it's Mommy Dearest.
Okay, that's
Mommy
that's what I thought.
Dearest.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this because, we watched it again, and I was like, I wonder if they were a little bit inspired by Psycho, because even though the mom's dead in Psycho, oh, spoiler alert, sorry.
Oh,
That
But
movie's like
like,
60 years
No,
old.
she's
at this-
not.
I
If you've seen Psycho 2.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Or if you see Psycho 3 and that's not even his mom. So yes, so I was wondering if maybe they kind of took some notes from Psycho, because while Psycho is Norman killing people because he's like, I don't know, whatever.
he's like assuming that he assumes the identity of his mother. He has this sort
Yeah.
of like relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot deeper than what we think it is. But anyways,
Yeah.
continue.
So this is kind of almost, I mean, the mom's not dead, obviously. She's the villain in the film the whole time. They don't mention Jason at all in this movie, right? Except that he died, but they don't think he's the killer, right?
He wasn't a good swimmer.
Well, he deserved it. So it's just dealing with the whole like horror movies where like the moms are killers and stuff. Like, I made the connection of Psycho, and I was checking to see if there's any trivia about it. I didn't see any. So that's like, but to me, Psycho is more of like a psychological thriller. This is straight up horror. So yes, Betsy Palmer does take the cake of best horror mother.
Yeah, I mean, because you look at this film, you look at Margaret White, obviously Carrie's mother, and we've already done Carrie on the show, so we couldn't really talk about her. As Margaret is awesome as well, like as far as like horrific mothers and horrible, like figures that are sort of like the anti-mother, I guess, sort of thing, like smothering. And I guess Norma Bates would be the same way, because one could argue that Norma sort of nurtured Norman to be this psychopath, right? I don't know. I mean, I'm only going off from the show, which by the way, my mom loves that show, and it kind of scares me sometimes because she like yells
a
at
good
me
show.
when I don't watch it.
It's a
I
good-
know
yeah,
it's a
good
good
show.
show, but I'm
I
like,
watched like some of the first season, and I was like, "This is okay," but I just fell
Like,
off.
it does get better, honestly, in my opinion, from like 2 to 3 to 4. It just collectively gets better.
I didn't.
I
That's
mean,
one of those episodes. That's one of those shows I didn't watch the last season, which everybody's like, "Why don't you watch the last season?" I just haven't had time. But it's I don't like watching things that's like almost like a prequel, because like I know she's gonna die. Like we
Yeah.
all know what's gonna happen to the mom.
Yeah, I'm the same way with some of the stuff. I'm just like, oh, okay, we know what happens. I'm not a big prequel fan,
Yeah, and she's the main character in the show, so you're like, I know she's gonna die in one of these seasons. So what's the holdup? And then Rihanna being Marion Crane, but like, yeah. So,
Oh, she was in like one episode.
well, yeah, she played like Marion Crane, didn't she?
Yeah.
You just want to argue with me? I literally
Yeah.
said the facts, and you. Oh my god! I swear these.
oh my god, you two need a room.
What are we gonna do with these
seriously.
straight
Sorry.
guys? AIDS, seriously.
You know what? Aren't they horrible? Ugh.
I know.
I hate Me Too.
Ugh.
I don't.
Oh. Anyways, so with that, I mean, yes, we chose Friday the 13th, and the only reason I was like apprehensive about picking this movie though is because one is Jake's favorite slasher, right? So I tried to get him on, but it just didn't work. And then two, I was like, well, if we do this movie, we have to have Jason on the episode. So,
Yeah.
if we don't have Jason on the episode, then what are we doing?
And Jason's not even in this movie, really.
He's at the end.
Pops up at the end.
Yeah,
Very
literally.
spirit.
They just try to out carry Carrie. They didn't, but they just tried to out carry. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it makes no sense that Jason pops up in this movie.
Oh, absolutely not. And you're absolutely right, because that was the whole point. Well, when Carrie did the hand popping out of the grave, like we have to have this jump scare at the end. And Tom Savini was talking about this because I was just watching this, where Tom Savini's like, oh, we got to have that jump scare at the end. And which is fine, honestly, because I love him. So it's totally fine. I just think it's like, yes, it's tiresome, but that is a scary jump scare. Like, especially like, my mom always told me, and I never saw Friday the 13th very young. I saw it after I watched Scream. And in Scream, they tell you that in the first one, Jason's
Yeah.
mom is the killer. So I knew that.
Spoiler
coming in.
alert.
Spoiler
Gosh.
alert.
Thanks, Kevin Williamson, you douche.
Oh, how dare you?
See, he
And
finds
so-
another gay guy to bash.
I know. All these, yeah. Jason's
Well, you
coming-
know, the Proud Boys don't have a leader anymore, so I'm just I'm making my case to be the number one guy.
Why? What happened to George Santos? But anyways,
Also arrested.
yeah. Well, I will say, you said Jason is Jake's favorite slasher. Jason used to be my second favorite. I was always a big fan of Michael Myers because to me he's scarier just in terms of everything. But because of all the shit movies they've been doing, Friday the 13th has been consistent in quality. And that's why it's moved into my first spot of my favorite horror series.
And see, the thing about the shitty Friday the 13th movies as opposed to the shitty Halloween movies, like the shitty Halloween movies just make you mad. Like the shitty Friday the 13th movies, like, okay, well, this is dumb, but at least it's fun. Like Jason Takes Manhattan is a bad movie, but at least it's like it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Whereas like
I love
Halloween
Jason
5,
Goes to Hell. Honestly,
like-
it's so bad, but it's a lot of fun.
exactly.
Jason
But like
X,
Halloween 5
super fun.
or the last two the David Gordon Green movies are like bad movies. I don't ever want to watch those again. I could watch Halloween 5 again and just laugh at how stupid it is. I mean, not Halloween 5, but Jason 7 with
The
Phoenix, Jean
telekinesis.
Grey, with Jean Grey. from
Yeah.
Carrie.
Yeah.
That's one of my
Like-
least favorite ones. But
That movie sucks, but it's still like stupid to watch. Like, okay, sure, she's got telekinetic powers for no reason, and her
Yeah.
dad pops up at the end of the movie just like Jason does for no reason.
no reason. But it's got Kane Hodder, and he's a fucking beast, and he's tearing shit up. It's fun.
Yeah.
Breathing
And-
like Kane Hodder's asthmatic Jason just walking everywhere because he just breathes so damn hard.
Well, and that was the thing, because so initially we had done a challenge episode. So if y'all ever want to go back to the challenge episode, we had Doug and Adam arguing, and Jason, or I keep saying Jason, Jake, our beloved Jake, whom we miss very much.
Mhm.
Jake was the moderator, and I was the judge, and then Adam and Doug were arguing about which was the better Friday the 13th sequel, part 5 or part 7. And honestly, Doug won because part 5. The thing is I've seen part 7 the most because for some reason they always fucking play that one on TV. I have no idea why.
Is that
Part
Lives?
7, what?
Which one's
Six
part
is,
7?
6 is Leo's. 7 is the one that
New
we were
Blood?
talking about with Carrie.
Blood,
New
yeah.
Blood.
Okay, New Blood.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
New Blood, and then the one with Roy. That's not Jason. That's
New
part
Beginning.
5.
New
Yeah.
Beginning.
New Beginning
New
is fine.
Beginning, New Blood. So they were put them head to head, and
That's a
honestly,
good head to head.
yeah, that was a good one. So if y'all haven't seen or listened to that episode, this is actually a really fun episode. So please listen to it. But I only picked Doug because Doug had some really good points, and he's right. And obviously, is it Miguel Nunez?
Yes,
Jr.?
Miguel Nunez.
Miguel Nunez and the porta potty singing about enchiladas, it's the piece de resistance of Friday the 13th.
Those damn enchiladas. Ooh, baby. Hey, baby.
So, I mean, and that's the thing. So, when you think about this film, circling back to before and the whole thing with Betsy Palmer or whatever, like she is so fucking scary. And I knew that she was in it, but I had nightmares watching this because my mom found it on VHS at like Kmart. So we bought it and she let me watch it. And I literally had nightmares of this woman. I just kept seeing her when I closed my eyes, and because it's just everything about her, just the way she was like talking to herself, and just all of these like weird little things. Like, she was so obsessed with her son, and then obsessed with this tragedy, and these kids were paying for it, and you think it's a man the whole time. And I just love the premise of you don't know who the fuck it is until you know who it is. And I can imagine, I wish I could take the DeLorean back to 1980 and sit in the theater and see this for the first time and get that surprise. Like, could you imagine how amazing that would have been?
When you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, she's just a friend of the Christies. No big deal here. It's like, oh, she's killing everybody. Oh,
Jeez,
no.
killing everyone. Yeah, thanks. Scream ruined it for me, like I think Aid said, and like, yeah, I didn't get to have that surprise. I knew going into it, seeing it the first time, that she was a killer, so it did kind of take away some of that charm. You know what I mean? I would love to see that with like a fresh set of eyes, never seeing it before,
Yeah.
and not knowing the twist.
And if you take away all the sequels, like pretend this was the only one that ever came out. this is a scary movie. Like the sequels make it kind of funny or like lighthearted and campy, but like this standalone movie is scary. It has a scary score. It's gory. You know, they talk about keeping the beginning kill very subtle so that you don't know what you're getting into later on. And I've mentioned this story many times, so I apologize for listeners that have been around for a while. But when I saw this movie for like the 5th time, I was at a sleepaway camp, an adult sleepaway camp, and it was storming outside. We were supposed to watch it outside on a blow-up projector, but because of the storm, we watched it in the mess hall. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And we were watching it. It's a good movie. Everybody was all into it. And then I had to go to the bathroom. And so the bathrooms are outside, you know, just like in the movie, there's like a whole building for the bathrooms. So I was like running to the bathroom in this hard rain, water up to my calves, looking real hot, probably wearing white, my nipples just see through. And so, you know, sorry for the unsolicited boners, guys. But and it was like
The family
thunderstorming.
show, Mikey. Come on.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to click explicit on this episode.
Not on our Christian podcast, Michael.
Oh, I know, but this is the After Dark special. But I was in the bathroom just peeing because I don't poop. And I was there and I was like, oh shit, I'm scared. And so like, and I've seen this movie already before. So I like ran my ass back into the mess hall and finished it with my friends. And I was like, this is like the coolest movie watching experience I've ever had. Because at the end of the movie, it's storming too. And so like, it was very like watching it in the element of the movie. And so, and you know, to your point about Mrs. Voorhees being scary, it's, you know, she also gives the performance her all, her facial, like she looks psycho. And as kids, when we watch it, you know, I think, at least I know I do, is I'll be like, well, what if that was my mom? My mom loves me, but was my mom psycho? Does my mom have capability of doing that? Because I did hear, like, I was reading some paper about like why kids are scared of their parents. And essentially a kid's instinct is like, if they don't listen to their parents ultimately will kill them. It's like super deep in your brain. I mean, you can have the nicest parents, but you know how like when you get in trouble, a kid doesn't know I'm just getting in trouble. Like the kid's like lizard brain is like, this woman might kill me. And so it's an interesting dynamic to have a mother in that position.
Well, and that's also too, when you think about the whole aspect of like mothers supposed to be the nurturers, right? Like they're supposed to be the ones to comfort you and to console you and to like make you feel better. And when you kind of flip that and turn it around, and now you're making these mothers, these, for lack of a better word, like crazy bitches. It's just like,
I don't know, killing someone's kid might do that to you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I don't think that Mrs. Voorhees would be this person if her son didn't drown. And you know, and later on they talk about how, you know, Jason, there was something wrong with him, he's deformed, he was this and that. And it's sort of kind of like alluded to that at the end of the film when you do see Jason pop out of the water. He's all like decrepit looking and he's like waterlogged and whatever. So, you know, maybe Jason did have some problems and he was being made fun of, which really carries into Freddy versus Jason, because I think that is like the saddest scene for me. Like when Jason's like in fetal position, shivering as a little boy on the dock, and like Freddy goes in and sticks his fucking finger in his head. And I'm like, oh my God, Jason.
They definitely wanted you on Jason's side in that movie.
Exactly. Because I initially, obviously, I always wanted Freddy to win. I had, you know, because for me, Jason is just a big oaf. Like, Jason
at least he's not a pedophile.
Well, Freddy,
sorry,
it's implied that Freddy is a pedophile.
I just remember that part in Freddy versus Jason where Freddy Krueger's having sex with that girl on the porch. She's like, this bitch is dead on her feet.
That is the good part, though. But that's the thing, like that, you know, Freddy is his own little character, right? But like, in the Friday the 13th, like the scariest part about it is Mrs. Voorhees, and the fact that like she is the reason that Jason is the way that he is, right? So he sees her still. She's still there, like in his mind, sort of like Norman Bates. So I think that's a really good connection that you made there, Mikey.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's like the Psycho sequel we all needed.
And but that's the thing too when you talk about the rain and everything, which is why I wanted to bring up Janine Taylor's character Marcy, because Marcy, like you think at the beginning of the movie, I think that Marcy is like the main character, like the final girl, right? They show her in the
Mhm.
truck with Kevin Bacon. She has a lot of lines.
Yeah.
Flashes her butt crack.
Yeah, she looks really cute in her little panties, very reminiscent of, Ripley from Alien sort of thing kind of going on. And so like she talks about that whole scene, and I always think of the scene where she's sitting with Kevin Bacon and it's about to rain and she's talking about her dream, and like it starts raining and then the rain turns to blood, and then it washes away in rivers of blood, and it's like, such a like deep moment and a fucking slasher movie. And then obviously it was foreshadowing to what was going to happen to her and to Kevin Bacon, and I just thought that was such a good like touch to that, and you don't really get that in slasher films. So I don't know, I wish that she was the final girl and not Alice, because I don't like, especially at the end when Mrs. Voorhees is smacking the shit out of Alice, like bitch, get the fuck up. Like she's like, ah, like get up. She's not
I
hitting you
realized this
better.
time, like that final that fight between the two of them, like that thing goes on forever. Like I mean, it's like it
So
just
long.
keeps going and going and going. It's
Yeah.
almost
That
like it's sort
beheading
of what
is
it feels like a Peter Griffin fighting the big chicken in Family Guy. Like it just keeps going and going. And I don't even like that shit that much, but everybody knows this. It just keeps happening. Um, I realized like this just keeps going, doesn't it? And they're still fighting each other. Really, these people who have this kind of stamina for this, it's hard to fight somebody. Like,
You would know.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big guy. Brawn. Nothing. I'm just 130 pounds of straight beast over here.
Ooh.
boom.
Okay, well, but that's the thing too. Like that wasn't necessarily long, and it was very hokey. And like Dan had never seen it, and he didn't watch it with me this time around, but he had watched it a couple of years ago with me. And I remember him getting so frustrated with that scene. And he's like, "What the fuck? Why is she?" He's like, "This fucking bitch," and I'm like, I know. Like this is a very, and there's different versions of it, because I have the film on VHS and they cut it out. They
Oh,
cut
really?
most of it out. Yeah.
Hmm.
I also have it on DVD, and the whole fight scene's on DVD. And then I think parts of it are on whatever I streamed it on the other day. I think it was on Prime.
I watched it on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
watched it on Prime too.
I watched it on my
they
Blu-ray.
cut it down. Yeah,
Mhm.
they cut it down in different versions of it, because I think at some point somebody realized like this is fucking stupid. Like why are we doing this?
Also, Pamela Voorhees must be like the strongest person ever, but she's like she's like throwing bodies through windows. She's hoisting up people and like tacking them to the doors. And like, how's she like, she's like the busiest villain I've ever seen in my life.
It's that cable knit sweater that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with her Cosby sweater. Like,
It's those mama bear instincts that kick in.
That's my favorite part about these is when they go. It's at the end of the movie and all the bodies are just like falling out of trees. It's my favorite part. It makes no sense how they're like, why is this body just now falling in front of me? But
also,
Wasn't-
when Kevin Bacon and Marcy were having sex next to the other dead body that they never
Yeah.
realized was there.
the camera pans up to the bunk above them and it's just some guy with his like throat cut and you're like, you didn't notice that at all? No? All right, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and what I also like about this is that we have a lot of the typical have sex you die, but this actually gives you a reason why you die when you have sex. Not that it's just bad. Like, well, no, kids were having sex, that's why her son drowned. And so she's killing people that are having sex and not paying attention to the kids. So it's
Right.
like, okay, well, that gives reason to your madness. So I can support that.
Yeah. And speaking of sex, let's talk about that fucking creep that I sent y'all the picture of the other day, because like I never
Being
really
blonde
cared.
mustache.
Mr. Christie. Oh my God. Like, okay, who was he played by? He was played by Peter Brower. And yes, mustache, no shirt on, and little skinny
Mhm.
jean shorts, cutoffs, with his little ascot around his neck. First of all, he's dressed like one of the Village People, and he's like caressing Adrienne King's, aka Alice's face. And I'm just like, and he's like, what was the point of him telling her, oh, you're very smart, or what did he say?
Artistic, I think.
Artistic and very pretty. And you can
Yeah.
tell she's like so uncomfortable. She's
Also-
like uncomfortable with that entire conversation. He's
How
just being as
old
creepy as
is he also, by the way?
Why can't you girls just take a compliment? Jeez.
He was
Yeah.
35 years old. He was
Mikey.
35, Jason.
Yeah, you can tell me I look pretty without being creepy and, with a shirt on at the very least.
He was also hitting on that lady at the diner too. Like he just gets around.
He
I
was
mean, the
getting
blonde
around.
mustache plays. The blonde mustache plays. Okay.
In
Okay.
that time. And nowadays it does not play.
No.
Oh my god!
Like him?
Do not put a mustache near me. That is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Like you can have a beard. I don't want to see a fucking mustache.
I have a mustache, Aid. What the fuck?
I
you
mean,
you have a beard.
did y'all
Oh, okay.
see?
Oh, just the mustache.
I mean, do
Just
y'all remember?
the mustache.
Oh yeah,
Larry-
fuck off with that.
I mean, do y'all remember Larry Bird's mustache in the
ass.
'80s when he was playing with the Celtics? That thing was chef's kiss.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
flying in
yes.
the wind.
Basketball is
everywhere.
totally my thing.
You can have sometimes you can, I think it's the blonde mustache. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can have a
It's not
mustache.
that-
I mean, what's his face? The guy with the fucking oh my god. Tom Selleck. He's got a great mustache.
Okay, so Tom Selleck is the only man on this planet who can have a mustache, and only because he was screwing around with Monica and friends. So,
Wait, no. Tom Atkins can also have a mustache.
okay, Tom Atkins
Okay.
may have a
Okay,
Tom,
okay.
and anybody named Tom may have a
Yeah,
mustache.
Tom Selleck.
Tom Hardy. Can Tom Hardy have one?
Hardy
Tom
may have,
Hardy
like-
can do whatever he wants.
He can
I
do whatever.
know,
Mhm.
especially to me. Oh my
Mhm.
god. Okay.
Oh shit.
Oh, now
What
it's
Late
getting
about
hot
night
in
Tom
podcast.
Lennon from Reno 911? Officer Dangle.
Yes,
Yeah, he can have a mustache too.
exactly.
The gays are
Ostrich.
exempt.
It's just ostrich boots. 3 payments.
Oh my god, I can't do it.
Just,
So
just new boot goofing. Just new boot goofing.
this is not a good Mother's Day episode.
That's perfect. What do you mean? Perfect.
Well, I know. Well, not when I guess if I don't know. I don't even know if my mom still listens. She's just a Patreon member at this point. I think she's over me.
Aw.
I know. Sorry, Ma.
On your brother
Anyway.
now.
I-
All
Well,
hopes and
yeah.
dreams.
No, well, it's that's the thing. If you have 2 kids, I always feel like one's a boy, one's a girl. The boy is always the favorite. It doesn't matter what
Oh,
they
yeah.
do. My brother's always been the favorite. He always will be the favorite, and I'm just there.
My
So
mom
it's
won't
fine.
admit it, but I'm the favorite. And I think it's because, according
'Cause
to
you're
my
a boy.
mom, because according to my mom, is that you don't have to worry about boys as much. I'm like, well, these days you do, because these days boys are getting kidnapped just as much as girls now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, they thought only girls were in danger of all that. So
Yeah.
Did your mommy know what your high school escapades of sniffing things in hallways?
nope, she thought I was an
That-
angel. No, I probably did more worse shit than my sisters did, and she was just like, "Oh, you're so funny." So just having a dingalang makes you more trustworthy, I guess, according to parents.
I guess that's true. Hey, you're just spare parts, bud.
I am.
You're
Isn't
just a
that
rib.
shame?
Literally, you're just a rib, according to
I
the
am
Bible.
a rib, and it's sad because I'm the only smart one in the family, but I still get.
You're a baby back rib. You're my
I
favorite
know.
rib.
No, you're my favorite. Well, you're not a rib, but if you were a rib, you'd be my favorite too, boo boo.
No,
Anyway,
it's a lot of words
so-
for a rib. But anyways, now.
Oh, runtime. So we talk about that fight.
Yeah.
The runtime is 95 minutes, and I think the fight lasted for 22.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, but that beheading was worth it at the end. I mean, that was a great, just like
And that wasn't
amazing.
even going to happen. Like Tom Savini said that like he had to turn the car around or something. Like and these are just things that he says when I follow him on Instagram and
Okay,
whatever.
Mikey.
Mm-hmm. I
Okay.
just finished my vodka and it had chili on the bottom.
Oh,
I know I got a little concerned, but I was like, do I say anything or do I just
Sorry,
keep
yeah.
speaking?
No, finish your thought. You're more important.
Continue,
than that.
Aid.
Thanks for caring, Austin. Thanks for caring.
I didn't know what was happening up there.
Okay, well, fine. I will be the mother since it is, Mother's Month here.
Mother's
Michael,
Month.
are you okay?
I'm fine. Thanks.
Are you gonna make it?
Thanks, birthing unit
Oh my
71.
goodness.
But
Ah, Excuse you?
A lot of things that have been
I
said tonight.
know. I'm
Mikey, you are editing this episode, correct? Because
yes.
I don't
You're
have
very
full
busy
help.
this weekend. I know. You're
I
very
am.
busy.
I am.
By the way, happy birthday, Friday the 13th, opening weekend, May 9th, 1980. This is officially the 43rd birthday of the film. So
Big facts.
I know,
I know.
almost as old as Aid, but the competition that year, what?
Wow.
Just kidding. You said I should
Oh!
drink before the episode. You
Yes,
created
it's-
this monster.
Oh
Dusty.
my God. I have never.
I would never.
I'm
Never.
kidding. Actually, Jason, me and you are exactly the same age.
Yes, correct.
Austin's the baby.
Oh, for the first time. Oh, thank God, because I'm the old person in my friend group. So
Yeah, Austin, you've been the baby.
Well,
we know this.
Welcome to the nursing home.
Woo!
Um, So yes, runtime of 95 minutes. Do we like it?
We liked it. We would like it better if some of this was edited in, or like the part where you remember, like when the cop gets there and he just drives off his motorcycle, and they watch him do the whole U-turn and the dome. I'm like, none of this was needed in this movie at all. Wait, he's like, he goes down and it's like one take you see him just like spinning around and then he drives off. I'm just like, why? You could have just like saw him crank up the motorcycle and that's all you needed. That's all you would have needed.
Well, that's the thing is you could tell the actor clearly couldn't drive a motorcycle because the guy like almost fucking fell.
And he's giving all this throttle at the end so they can spin it around pretty good. I'm just like, okay, guy.
It was pretty bad. Yeah. That must have been like somebody that worked on the movie or somebody who was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like
They're like, can you ride a motorcycle? It's like, yeah, I got this. Oh fuck, no, I can't do this shit. I'm gonna act like I can though.
Sorry, I'm used to my little Kawasaki.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the 95-minute runtime is pretty average. I just think as we age, I'm like, you know what's better? 80 minutes.
That's Saturday Night Live skit. I need a short ass movie.
Yeah.
85
Good
minutes
for-
is perfect.
85 if it's a good movie, 80 if I'm kind of like, okay, let's hurry this along, kind of like a bad lay.
Yeah.
But
I hope a bad lay doesn't last 85 minutes. Fuck.
Oh
sorry.
my God.
Ugh.
I got that. Never mind. But okay, so
Also,
Okay.
I have a question. How were they playing Strip Monopoly? Because they were using clothes, but they also had cash in front of them at the same time too. So
Yeah,
what was the
she-
point of having Strip Monopoly, you're playing clothes and cash at the same time?
have
This
you
makes
never
no
tried to
sense.
have sex with people before, Jason? That's
I
what
have
you
tried
do.
to have sex with people before, but I've not given them cash and clothes at the same time.
It's
Or
like
done
when
it
you
in front
play-
of
it's
other
like-
people.
Jason,
Like,
Jason does
Austin,
have
you
a baby,
prude.
so we know he
Yes.
at least did it once. Okay.
Also, she demanded that she was going to be the shoe. I'm pretty sure we all know that is the worst one you can be in Monopoly.
The
It's either
shoe.
the race car or the battleship or bust. Everything else stupid.
Yeah,
I'm
the-
always
I
the
don't want to be a
shoe.
fucking thimble.
The shoe is stupid. Get
I'm
out of
always
here.
the shoe. You're never the shoe.
No.
I'm the shoe.
No.
I'm
I
usually
liked the thimble just
shoe.
because you could stick your finger in it and move it. You don't have to pick it up.
I
That's
like
what
the
she said.
thimble as well. Oh my God.
Austin.
What?
Austin wants to
Okay.
pick you up like a
for that
bowling ball.
alley-oop? Oh my God.
Pick me up
Oh
like a
my
bowling
God.
ball, Austin.
Oh my God. Okay.
But
Okay, no, but really quickly, Jason, to answer your question, because I too was thinking about this because I had way too many mimosas on Sunday when I was watching this. And I was thinking, okay, so like when they land on something, right, they still have to pay the bank, but they also have to pay a piece of clothing at the same time.
Okay, so I was wondering
Yeah.
how this worked. I was like, does a boot equal a pink 50, or how much does a shirt cost? Is that like
well,
the
it's like
500?
it's like cash, ass, or grass. You pay with what you have.
I'm not sure what the breakdown is between, money value and clothing, but yeah, it was something about they mentioned paying rent in clothing.
Yeah,
That's what they said in the
She's
movie.
like, oh, you don't, I'll be the bank, but then you're right. She's like, I'll be the bank or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're like, you don't
So you
use
can make
money.
a deposit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
you-
was kind of running the show.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, and she was kind of the center of attention. She had big Lorelai Gilmore energy, I felt like.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who did she remind me of? She looks like somebody, and every time I watch this movie, I always think
She
that
looked like
looks somebody.
Sookie. But
She does not look like Suki.
That's the only
She
character
does
I could
not.
remember. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
It's a
In
cute
that show.
movie.
The show, I
Suki's
mean, the
from-
show.
Gilmore
True
Girls.
Blood.
Jersey. What is,
No,
ladies and
not
gentlemen of the
Snooki.
jury?
I hate all
Not
of you.
Snooki. Sookie.
Oh,
Melissa
Sookie.
McCarthy in Gilmore Girls.
I thought.
Oh, I thought you were talking about True Blood.
I thought you were talking about. I thought you were talking about True Blood or Jersey Shore. Sorry.
Everyone's a damn mess in this episode, guys. Friday the 13th, Part 1. It's a really great movie. It's very heavily mother themed. Watch it with your mom and be like, "Hey, mom, if I died, would you kill everybody in cold-blooded revenge?" I know I would. One time, a 4-year-old girl almost pushed Olivia off a swing set, and I called her a cunt. So I don't know what I would do to an
That's-
adult that killed my child. Wait until your instincts kick in, Austin. It's scary.
I already told Gabby today. I was like, the second someone threatens or bullies my daughter, I was like, they're gonna have a problem with me.
Yeah.
So
You're like, I'm gonna be 12 years old today. I'm about to whoop
Oh,
some
yeah.
ass. Um,
There is no whatever, any kind of etiquette thrown out the window. I mean, listen,
drop kicking 5-year-old. I don't care.
if somebody threatened my dog, because like this guy behind me in line today was like moving his foot too close to her face, and I was like, "Do you fucking mind?" Because I was.
Do you want to die today, right now?
Do you want me to stab you in the eyeball with my weapon that's on her leash? 'Cause
oh
I'll
my
do
god, that's
it.
very Evil Dead Rise of you with the tattoo gun.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
Oh, Austin's
was
here.
in-
Yell at him for
It
liking
was in the
Austin?
fucking trailer
Austin, you and I are fighting.
because I like to fucking celebrate horror movies, and everyone
No.
else likes to just hate
'Cause
them.
You
Oh,
like to celebrate CGI.
Says a
and
guy that has
bullshit.
a limit to the movies that he watches. I wanted to watch a movie one day, and he was like, "And it has a 2-star rating. I only watched 2.6 or higher, or something like that."
Meanwhile, he still hasn't
Exactly
watched
what I
Bug, and I
said.
know you haven't, so don't even lie to me.
Exactly what I said, Mikey.
Mm,
And I haven't watched Bug.
mhm.
My
It's
wife
not
is
that
pregnant.
good.
What?
It's not that good.
No, but everyone needs to see it. It's not the point. It's a very nihilistic film. Like you're gonna
Mikey, we're
walk
watching.
away
We're watching.
feeling
Bug.
like shit. Yeah, you're gonna feel like shit after you watch it, but it's worth the watch.
You
Oh,
want to see
you're
Michael
gonna feel like
Shannon
there's
smoke crack?
bugs.
Is that what you want? You're excited to see Michael Shannon smoke crack?
Again.
because he is the crackhead. He looks like a crackhead. Like, why does
Michael
this man
Shannon.
look like this? Yeah,
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
really feel like he is anyway. But
Yeah.
also, it's a quick movie. I feel like it happens like this, and it's over.
I just don't know why you're misgendering Molly Shannon, but it's a joke. I don't know who Michael Shannon is, guys.
because I'm 50
Um,
and okay.
You don't know who Michael Shannon is? Come on, Mikey.
Ugh, Austin, you're editing this episode. It is a mess.
Give it to me. I'll fucking
I-
edit the shit out
Listen,
of
I
it.
don't have time to edit this shit this weekend. So
I
y'all-
know.
one of
I got
y'all are
plenty of
gonna do
time.
it.
I got plenty of
Yes.
time. You said to me.
Okay.
Anyways, guys, what is your final review / star rating of Friday the 13th, also known as Long Night in Camp Blood something? We'll start with Jason.
I gave it on Letterboxd today. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and that's kind of maybe a little bit lower than that.
I
As it
feel like
hasn't
that's
aged as well.
disrespectful. Okay.
Disrespectful.
I'm just, it's.
I mean, and it's clearly a ripoff of other movies that came out before it.
is it though? Because
I mean, and then at least in the 80s, eventually did he rip off this movie a lot? See movies like Madman or Madman.
Okay, Austin will tell you that I respect everybody's opinions in film, but you're wrong because it is not a copycat of a movie. Yeah, it pulled from Halloween, but it's way more aggressive than Halloween.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. That's what you do.
When people make independent films now, I feel like they're copying more of Friday the 13th, or excuse me, independent slasher films. I feel a lot more of them copy Friday the 13th than they do like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I totally think they do more so than Halloween. Even though Halloween is one that kind of set the plate for it,
It
set the
did,
table for the
Set
80s.
the, set the plate for what?
For all the movies that came out in the 80s, it kind of
Oh, okay.
here's how you make a slasher movie.
I
Idiots.
thought you were gonna say slashers.
Yeah.
'Cause I was
Yeah.
gonna-
But-
And then Friday the 13th
also-
came out. I feel there's more like camp or wooded slasher movies like Just Before Dawn than there are like suburban like slasher movies in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I feel like
True, but Halloween rips off Black Christmas.
Yeah, I mean it's
So,
not like it was the first thing, and all of
it's
them they
not
ripped
the
off
first,
the
yeah.
Italian
Well,
giallo
which one
movies that
came-
came before it, and
which one came first, Black Christmas or One Missed Call?
Black Christmas.
Black Christmas.
That Christmas.
Okay, I'm
One Miss
sorry.
Call was
Jeez.
like 2000s.
Man,
What?
you
Oh my
really-
god,
Which is why
Austin, you know that's a
everyone's like,
remake,
oh.
right?
That's a remake. The other one had
Wait,
The
no,
other
no.
one came. The other one came out in the 80s.
Oh
Does that
my
have Carol
God,
Kane
Austin.
in it? Isn't she the main?
Yes.
Yeah.
One Missed Call is the best.
There's no One Miss Call from the 80s.
Oh, sorry. Well,
It's
everyone
not
knew
One
what I'm
Missed
talking
Call.
about.
It's the Killers in the House. What the fuck is the name of that
Oh,
movie?
that's not One Miss. Oh my god.
Why?
I'll let-
Oh my god.
I'll let you figure it out.
See,
It's One
See,
Miss Call was a fucking Japanese movie from
I
2003.
know,
we
Austin,
are
I know.
geriatric at
Yes.
this point.
Excuse our feeble minds, but it's called
the
Wrong
fuck is-
Number. No, not Wrong Number. Wrong Missed Call. I don't know.
And it's not Wrong Missed Call. What the hell? It's, okay, Jason, Carol King is in it. What is the name of the movie, Jason?
I'm googling it now.
Please. Oh, thank God.
It's the best opening to a movie. I'm sorry. Maybe.
When a Stranger Calls.
That's it. Yeah.
No,
God.
that's definitely not it,
It's
Austin.
When
It
a
is,
Stranger
it is.
Calls.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm done. I give up. I'm done.
Oh,
Go
my
back to your own
God.
podcast, Austin.
I know.
I joined tonight. I'm like, oh, Gabby's tired. She says I can go do the podcast. I'm gonna come on here, and you guys are just berating me. It's fine.
Well, it's okay.
Fine.
Thank you for the information that you've provided to us today. One Missed Call in the 80s. It has the best. No, that's not what it is. When a Stranger Calls from the 80s. Oh my God. Whatever. You know what? Adrienne, how do you rate Friday the 13th?
Oh.
I love Friday the 13th. I mean, with the exception of the fact that it is a slog at times. It scared me as a kid. It scares me now, and I think it's a great summer horror flick. I watch all my Friday the 13th in the summer, so I give it a 5 out of 5. I think it's great.
Okay. Austin, what did you give it on? Have you rated it on Letterboxd?
Of course, yeah. I have a whole Friday the 13th list that everyone can go look at and completely hate because my opinions are crazy. But 3.5 out of 5. I rated 1 and 2 3.5. I prefer 2 to 1, but I still think the first one is a like if it didn't get spoiled for me and I didn't know the twist, I probably would give it way more. But it's kind of hard to, rate it already, knowing the twist. But 3.5 out of 5.
That's exactly what I was going to give it. 3.5 out of 5. Now, my follow-up question, who's scarier, Mrs. Voorhees or Jason?
You
Jason,
gotta
I
give it
think
to
you
the
should
king,
answer.
right? Yeah.
Which iteration of Jason? Because I'm not really scared of like 2, 3, or 4 or 5. I'm scared of like Kane Hodder Jason.
See, I think 6 is the best, and that's
Six
Ted
is,
White.
6 is one of my favorites, but yeah, I'm not really scared of that version of Jason. I'm scared of Kane Hodder, the fucking 5.5 foot tank or however. He's pretty short, I'm pretty sure.
Remember, he actually
No,
teleports.
Is he
He's
tall?
big.
I think he's tall.
He's
Yeah,
fucking
he's-
wide. I think
Yeah.
He's very big. He's a big guy. But no, I think part 2 is the scariest. That
Part
the
2?
stack on the head is creepy. And
That is creepy.
he's kind of like a skinny, like podunk, like redneck kind of murderer, which I feel is very kind of, in my opinion, I think part 2 is scary. Because we had recently watched it. I don't know why, but Dan watched it with me, and I hadn't watched it in years. Because part 2 is probably one that I never, ever, ever watched. Like
Yeah.
I've seen it. I always see the beginning, and then Alice dies. Like I'll put it on, and then I fall asleep.
She's like,
Like,
okay,
remember that?
There's my happy
Oh.
ending.
Oh, but
I-
you have like
yeah.
the best final girl. That's my favorite final girl. Is Jenny.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
she's
Oh,
she's
I thought you were
great,
saying
yeah.
Alice.
But when that
Oh,
kid
no,
gets
Jenny.
that hatchet to the face and the wheelchair, and he goes down the stairs,
Oh my
That's
god,
the best
so good.
kill. That's my favorite kill of the whole.
I need like an eternal loop of that, him just going down the stairs.
Oh, that's the best kill in the whole fucking franchise. Oh yeah.
Well, I agree that Jason's scarier than Miss Voorhees. The wacky part of me really loves Jason Lives Jason, but as far as which iteration of Jason is the scariest, this might be kind of not popular. But I remember in the opening scene of Freddy vs. Jason, when Jason's chasing the girl in the forest. Is that Kane Hodder in Freddy vs. Jason?
No, that's Ronnie Yu.
That was the big.
That was a big controversy
shitstorm,
over that one. Yeah.
because they didn't have Kane Hodder in that one.
He
Well-
did 7. He did 7 through 10.
Because he was really big, and when he was walking, the only thing I can compare it to is the noises that when like the dinosaurs walk in Jurassic Park, like the boom, And I was like, and that just made it seem like he was a very girthy man. And it was very intimidating to little 18-year-old me. I didn't know what to do with myself. And so that's why I thought that was the scariest time I've seen Jason.
Now, what's
Okay.
everybody's favorite Friday the 13th movie?
Oh,
Oh,
Ashton, we were just talking about this today too.
Go, Austin. Oh, I know. Favorite Friday now. Quick, do it. Say it now. Favorite Friday the 13th movie now.
Part
Do it. Say it. Say it.
part 3.
Okay. Good job. That's an okay movie. Anyway, Adrienne, your favorite Friday the 13th movie. Not even ask
Part
you.
four,
just about-
part four.
Okay. Cool.
I
cool,
know I'm
cool.
alone with part 3. I know.
Jason, it was Jason. Actually, part 3 is my favorite also.
Part three's got that
no,
rock and disco
don't say it.
soundtrack. It's pretty
I'm not
great.
saying it just for you. I loved it because it's the first time we actually see Jason in the hockey mask. And also I prefer the final girl in part 3. But to me, part 3 is the best one movie-wise, but the fun one is Jason Lives, in my opinion.
That's my second favorite. So yeah.
Part 6 is my favorite one. Yeah, and also part
yeah.
3 is fun because the love interest of the final girl in that movie is so like wooden. He's not a good actor at all.
Oh
I just
my
remember
God.
when he comes back with that VW after they'd all beat it up. He just walks
Oh,
out. And
yeah.
it's like my poor car. What did you do to it?
I just love the 3D the 3D effects because they're portrayed now as very cheesy, but back then they were doing that because like it was like new technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were doing things that seem cheesy now because they were like, oh, look at this 3D. But I think I love it so much. And they have some wacky kills in that movie too.
Yeah.
So
Wacky kills.
Jason, you're like left field though, because part 6, like nobody ever says part 6. So what
What?
is it about
What?
part 6?
I
Part 6 is
love
one of the
part
best
six.
rated.
Everybody loves part 6.
Part 6 is amazing.
know.
CJ Graham
I
as
love-
Jason. What?
Part 6 is
It's
it's
fine.
funny.
Like where he's like stuck. It's the one where Tommy Jarvis is like a different actor and he's stuck in the jail, and the girl is this. That.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he
There-
comes. He's
What's
like,
just
I gotta make sure.
happening?
I gotta make sure Jason's dead, and then he goes there and resurrects
It's
Jason. It's
also
fucking
the
it's
only
poetic.
one. It's also the only one where you get camp kids. None of the movies have that.
Oh
so you
yeah,
get
they do
Yes.
have the children in
That's
it.
the only
Okay.
one that has kids
This is
in
where
it.
zombie
I agree
Jason
with you,
arises.
yeah.
It's-
Yeah. And you also get
Yeah.
that stupid American Express joke.
Yeah.
where
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's
So
also-
good.
But okay, we are running out of time, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Um,
we gotta
sorry.
we gotta hit the bricks.
Yes. So shut the
Me
fuck
and
up.
Jason will do a part 6 on my show.
a good
Please
one.
take
It's a good
him.
time.
Take him. I
Love
have
it.
a whole schedule you can make those appearance on for me. Now, thank you guys for tuning in today on Mother's Mayhem Part 3 with Friday the 13th Part, not 3.
One.
Oh man, I
Because
forgot
of
how to-
Mrs. Voorhees. Booger.
Yeah, because Jason's mom's the killer. Spoiler alert. Now, what is not a spoiler alert is if you want to have awesome merchandise from coffee cans to dental dams, where can they find such as gifts, Adrienne?
You can find those gifts at slasherspod.redbubble.com, where you can get anything at any size. And we've got like 50 different designs for you to choose from. So if you want, Jake's face on your taint, or if you want, Mikey's face on your tits, you can definitely order from the website. Yay.
Yay! And if you want to support us monetarily and get access to early episodes and bonus episodes like the one we're about to release about the upcoming trailers, go to patreon.com/slasherspod and sign up for as little as $1 a month. Or, just PayPal me some money. I'll send it to you. Now,
Yeah. OnlyFans coming soon.
ooh. But if you
want
want
to see my toes, what color are my toes today?
If you want to see Jason's toes, just ask him to send a picture of what's in front of him. He's always including his toes. It's a special treat for everybody on our group chat. But
Yeah.
if you want to follow us on Instagram, you can follow me at Horror and a Half Show. You can follow Aid at Spicy Latino Ho 27. You can follow Austin at, I'm just kidding, Aid, Pathologically Aid, even though mine was easier to spell. Austin,
true.
you are Frightmares Podcast on.
Just follow Frightmares. I don't use my
Frightmares.
personal,
Is it Frightmares or Frightmares Podcast on Instagram?
Frightmares podcast.
Frightmares Podcast on Instagram, or Jason at Jason Hill and some numbers.
Yeah.
69,420.
Yeah.
It's actually it's 63, isn't it?
I think it actually is 63.
It's
Yeah.
63.
Okay. See,
Just
I
go to the
remember
Slasher
it.
Spot Instagram, and my handle's in there. Maybe I'll follow you back. Who knows?
Ooh,
Yeah.
if you're lucky, if you're a Patreon
Jason
member,
doesn't
he'll follow you
care.
back.
If I'm feeling frisky that day, if you catch me in the right mood.
If
If
he
you
got
have-
his Doritos, he's
Adrienne,
good.
Yes.
Adrienne, please.
What?
Calm
I'm
yourself.
gonna send you a whole pack of Doritos one of these days.
Austin. Oh my God, it's like corralling hounds over here, or whatever the term is. Chickens. Oh, but if you have Facebook, you can join our Facebook group at Mutant Goons from Beyond. That's also our Instagram handle. So I think that's it. Before we run out of disk space on the internet, with this long ass episode, on behalf of Austin, Adrienne, and Jason, have a good day, good eye, and good eye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my
God.
God. That's just
Oh my God.
disgusting. Where's the
Okay,
stop
it
button?
wasn't even an